It's game time, we ain't playing with you. It's game time, it's game time, we ain't playing with you. That's how we ball for y'all.
What up, what up, what up, what up? You were rocking with Duke Vibe. Thanks for joining me for episode 90. Round of applause. Yeah, man, I hope everybody is feeling good, looking good, and doing good. It's like I said, it's flu season, man. It's flu season. Keeps creeping up on everybody. One minute you good, one week, next minute you feel it again. But what can we do? What can we do? But let's jump right in some topics, man. Everybody been talking about what's going on and around the world again. So in Minneapolis, definitely people are talking about that, because ISIS definitely I mean they're doing their job, but it's getting out of hand. It's getting out of hand because now somebody actually is being murdered. With a Renee Good. I mean, at this point, like it's definitely getting out of hand. It's a tragedy, and how people are reacting, it's I feel like it's definitely going to get worse because that was definitely uncalled for on both sides. But it's just it's a huge disconnect, man. It's a huge disconnect because looking at the footage, that's murder right there. That's just plain old murder. Because if you sign on the job to be ICE, you sign on to take this new project of, even though nobody wants you in their cities, period. But you signed on to this job. You have to have the responsibility to know that you're not above the law. You commit a crime, you should be punished. And what that was there is just showing that you think you're above the law because it shouldn't escalate it to that. There's no way it should escalate to that. And looking at that footage, she let cars go. She backed up in motion, and she was trying to get out the way. It looked like you jumped in front of the vehicle, and then after you jumped in front of the vehicle, you decided to let firearms to the point where it killed her. Like that's uncalled for. That is uncalled for, man. That's like, I understand she was there to basically warn people in the city to let you know, like, hey, yo, ICE is here, ICE is here, and that affects your job. But there gotta be some better training. There's gotta be some. You can't just go around killing people just because. That's just never should be happening. Because looking at that footage, even if they had another footage of another angle that showed that, that it looked like, the car was coming out. Yeah, the car was not really coming out of it. He basically jumped in front of the car. When somebody told her to get out the car, get out the car. Like, you gotta understand, you guys are not law enforcement. We're not gonna listen to you. It's just point blank and period. They don't respect you at the point. They don't want you. You don't want you in the city. Like, what you're doing is everything is just, it just looks like complete chaos at this point. Complete chaos. Seeing so many videos of them popping into Target, McDonald's. It's like you're doing way too much, way too much, way too much, and it's like you're disturbing people who actually are working citizens. You say they're not citizens, but you're coming to the actual job of their workplace, looking for them. So obviously, if they're good enough to work, then they're good enough to be in the country. Like, there's like no reason why you should be sitting here targeting people and trying to bring them like that. None of that stuff makes sense. None of this is making sense. But looking at that footage, that made no sense. No sense. yeah, the person's gonna be screaming because they're telling you you're in the wrong. Then you shoot the person. That is uncalled for. And the way Donald Trump is handling the situation, there goes him having the blindfold on, where he's just like, yeah, this is what's going on, and we're gonna be behind you. There's other people are gonna get hurt. This is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. But for him to come out and say this when they asked about what happened there,
Suggested that Renee Good, who was killed by this ICE officer, was part of a broad left-wing network. What has your team told you about this broad left-wing network? Who is in charge of it? Who's part of it? What's it called?
Well, I haven't seen the vice president's statement, but he's generally very accurate. I hate to say it. Look, I watched that yesterday, and there were a lot of different forms to it. But there was a woman screaming, "Shame, shame, shame, shame." She was a agitator, probably a paid agitator, but in my opinion, she was an agitator, a very high-level agitator, so professional. She wouldn't stop screaming. I said, this isn't a normal situation. This is a professional troublemaker, because you heard it and I had it. Now, I will say this, the news sort of turned her down, turned her off.
On Minneapolis, Mr. Prince, I have a follow-up for you. The state officials there have said that the FBI is not sharing evidence with them. Typically, they would conduct a joint investigation, as you know. Do you believe that the FBI should be sharing evidence with state officials in Minnesota?
Well, normally I would, but they're crooked officials. I mean, Minneapolis and Minnesota, what a beautiful place, but it's being destroyed. It's got an incompetent governor, fool. I mean, he's a stupid person.
he's just there's just so much politics. You can't mix this with politics. At the end of the day, it's real life. People are gonna get hurt. And now, as we can see, people are gonna kill. But it's too much. It's too much online showing how ICE is just running wild. Like they're just doing whatever they want to do. And that can't be the plan. That can't be like, oh yeah, we're gonna hire you and just try to find out. Like you're literally arresting people who are U.S. citizens, and that should nowhere be nowhere for them to go through a process where they just feel like, oh, if you don't got your proper identification on you, you'll be detained by ICE. Come on, that can't be the plan. That just can't be the plan. Move forward. That just it's not gonna end well. It's not gonna end well. It's gonna get uglier. And if the city is not behind this, y'all should not be. It just like I don't see how what's going on. It doesn't make no sense. Why the city is not behind this? The mayor, the governor, nobody's behind this. And they're telling you, yo, come to my city and commit a crime, ICE. That's your ass, basically. we're gonna treat you like a criminal if you do criminal activities. How you running around talking about you trying to capture criminals and you acting like criminals yourself? Like none of that makes sense. None of that makes sense whatsoever. There's right and there's wrong. And what is going on now? Everybody's handling the situation is all wrong. Like you got to go back to the drawing boards. You just got to go back to the drawing boards with this one because it's going to get worse. And it's not a white, it's not a black thing. It's just a humanity thing, a right and wrong. And what is going on right now is just none of this looks right. None of this looks right. But yeah. So everybody gonna keep paying attention to these ICE, and they don't want them. They don't want you in the city. They don't want you in the city. It just their intention is not looking good. And I'm not saying all of them are bad, but it just takes one. They always say it only takes one bad uh, fruit to ruin a whole garden. So, and that's what's going on. Just you got to go back to the drawing board with this one. I don't see this well ending well. Don't see this ending well. But in other news, it's just like I don't like this is more sick. In Pennsylvania, the guy was collecting, call him a grave robber, found hundreds of bodies in this man's house. I couldn't believe it. I was like, what? Like like what market are you sitting there trying to sell body parts online? This is just getting to the most disgusting, horrifying. Like, what were you thinking? What were you thinking actually?
At a Pennsylvania man's home, police find the remains of more than 100 skeletons. 34-year-old Jonathan Garlick is facing more than 500 charges of being held on $1 million bail. Investigators say since Halloween, he has broken into dozens of freestanding burial chambers and gravesites, and some of these remains were 200 years old. Others newer, including remains with a pacemaker attached.
Oh, Jason, police think that Jonathan Gerlach was selling at least some of those human remains online. Investigators say he had collected a trove of human skulls, skeletons, and bones, including full corpses hanging from his basement ceiling.
I never thought I would see this in my life. It was an experience that you really don't want to relive. They were basically on display. There was some stuff in boxes, but most of the stuff was on display.
According to newly released affidavits, police say Gerlach used crowbars and screwdrivers to break into dozens of mausoleums and underground burial vaults on both the Yeadon and Philadelphia sides of the historic Mount Moriah Cemetery. You can actually see where some of the stones were moved and vaults burglarized. 2 corpses stolen from this grave, 7 sets of remains stolen from this family plot. All of the remains were from those who died many years ago, but some as young as infants.
Like, and they're trying to say like this might not be the first person doing this. Might actually be a trend that there literally people breaking into graves. Like, first of all, there should be more security on these graves. Like, if you can get away with just be digging up over 100 bodies, that's a problem in itself. But for you to be that sick individual does not make sense. It does not make sense. So that was sickening. That was sickening. To the point they're talking about you might need to do a Netflix. I was like, yeah. That guy's crazy. It's crazy. Insane. But on another note, I did talk about these flying cars. Did see a clip where they said, "Hey, looks like it's actually in the works where they're actually having it out to release." But let's see. Trying to say that easier to use. Some people saying that it might be real Georgia, but I saying looking like it's easier to maneuver. They're saying it's not too hard. It said 30 minutes to teach somebody how to use it, but there's got to be certain different regulations of this. So, but I don't see it catching on to everybody. But it's going to be interesting to see a flying car. It's going to be very interesting. Somebody's going to get it. It's somebody you'll see somebody overlap somebody who. But I just want to know how high, how fast, like all this. It's gonna definitely futuristic and technology. Talking about all this technology, it definitely had this all the SES convention in Las Vegas. They had different displays on what's basically what's next with the technology. Did see a lot of robots that they displayed. They said they have like one of the robots that basically can then Endure basically understands your intelligence of your emotions. I've seen that they see the robot where it can actually climb the steps. They have the vacuum robot, but now it's showing that it can climb the steps. I did also see that they have the what was it Ultri the robot, basically it's reversible. So technology is still moving, and that's real techy. It had different screens, so like TVs, go from like 16 screen, and it can like expand like 15 to 24, something like that. So with the technology, they definitely have different things that are definitely advanced. They have the hologram, but then they say I think see like sex robot too. There's some sex dolls. So there's definitely gonna be some freaky stuff. And next level things is definitely coming. And then they have a lot of gadgets. But talking about with the gadget and technology, Apple and Google. So they definitely just did like a multi-million dollar partnership with basically just having now controlling Siri. Siri alone is just it was its own type of AI, but now it's saying it's going to go into depth because it's going to join with Gemini. That was the that was the Google partial. So that one actually now it's going to be basically because they was working on their own AI, but now I guess they decided they want to get in partnership with Google. So they have Gemini, and that one that's gonna be powered by Siri. See what the future, what they're trying to do with it. They needed something to really compete with the AI because OpenAI was definitely competing with them. But for now, it's gonna be a way that we can really have it. I think the next software they're gonna have it on there. So that's a big move. That's a definitely big move for Apple to when they're entering the AI talk. To just get ahead in partnership with Google, and they've been doing phenomenal things when it comes to AI. They always talk about the banana thing, what they're doing with the Google. So uh, now we're gonna see how this is gonna affect all our stuff on the phone because they're kind of talking about Apple's big on not having big on protection. It's definitely blocking certain things that can interact with our phones. So now it's kind of open up everything when it comes to AI for the information that's gonna have to everybody's gonna be asking it to do different schedules, gonna ask it to make just talking to it, just the regular how people talk to everything in the chat box. So it's definitely another another tool that people are gonna get used to, and it's gonna be right there in the hands of our phones, and then as Google. So we'll see how that partnership works. We'll see how that partnership works, and see how different things that they come up with when it comes to that. I did see that. Let's get into some music. People were talking about, Bruno Mars. Bruno Mars did come out with a new single called "I Just Might." Because I think he's gearing up to drop his album with February the 27th. What is called the Romantic. Uh, Bruno Mars, man, he's definitely a talented, artist. He definitely has hits on his belt, and he's definitely It's been a while for him to drop an actual solo project because he last project he dropped was with Slick Sonic. So they definitely had that hit Leave the Door Open. That was definitely a good hit that they good collaboration. He also recently collaborated with Lady Gaga too. The one with Die with a Smile. So he's still making music and being a versatile artist when it comes to that. What people always just try to say, is Bruno Mars really part of the culture? I would say he's still part of the culture. He still makes good music. And that's what the culture is about at the end of the day, making some good music. So that song, it's catchy, very catchy. So I definitely got to listen to that. So I want to hear his album when it comes out. Hear kind of else vibes he got because he's a different versatile artist. He definitely takes the chances on making music. And so that's always great. It's always great when you want to listen to some type of new music. So I'm definitely gonna be listening to that, and I'll be checking it out. Also, let's see who else. French Montana, Max B. Max B's home, so French Montana. They didn't waste no time to drop some music. So they dropped an album called Coke Wave 3.5 Narcos. First single they got really that he's trying to move with is Ever Since You Left Me. Taking the classic That's the Way I like, so he sampled that. I always top my head out to French Montana because he got a bunch of hits too, and I feel like he's definitely gonna find some type of catchy tune that people gonna like or rock to. So, but definitely I like some tracks up there. I like the A Nigga Like Me, French Montana, Chinks, Max Beat. Feel like that's track definitely special. That's definitely special because they have Chinks on there. You already know his talent. He was the next to go to be definitely a great artist. So he's definitely going through soon. But to have them three put that track together, I think that's special. I like the pop that have. So I think Max. I mean, I hear to talk about Max B. Like, definitely he had the proof because the one he had put out. I don't know if that's just a couple of tracks he had personally, but I mean, if people say, is it too late for Max B now? From just coming out, I think he just still had to, collect them checks and keep the momentum going. Just coming out. I mean, he's still a dope artist himself. But we'll see. We'll see how that album does. I think French Montana definitely is doing a great job and putting everything together with his ideas and just catching up Max B because he did just get out. So you check out that project, and you'll be the judge of it. See how you think about it. I did get a chance to watch some movies, man. I was watching. I watched the Primate movie. Did watch the Primate movie. I'm not gonna give it away, but I'll play what I did see. Like I say, Ben and Lucy.
Is a chimpanzee who is the heart and soul of the family.
Lucy's mom, a linguistics professor, brought Ben home, and there was really an instant connection.
Ben, miss.
He really is a little brother, and really a member of the Pinborough family.
There's a moment where Ben, something's up with him. He's definitely not his usual self.
He's usually quite sweet, so when he's being really aggressive, something isn't right.
Watching a movie, I respect the storyline.
Starts to lose his mind.
I like that
incredibly powerful teddy bear.
you never know what's gonna happen next.
Can just rip you apart limb from limb.
So I like the way they made that suspense
Ben,
of what's
me.
gonna happen.
Lucy.
Who Ben gonna go after next? And then there was some parts you'd be like, so definitely different. It's cool. Actually, it's cool. It's cool. I would recommend people just go watch it and be the judge of it. So when you get a chance, check that out. Also got into His and Her on Netflix, that series. Definitely some twists and turns, and I like that. I like when I have, you gotta wait to the end to see what really happened, and then you be the judge of it, because you wouldn't believe what happened. The way they started out, basically their husband and wife. One's sheriff, one's a reporter that's coming back. So the way they kind of set it up, you don't know really who's basically doing all the murders and who's doing the killers. So I like when they set things up like that. That's really
think that when bad things happen, that it was just random chaos. That bad things happen because you bring them on yourself.
For him being a sheriff and her just getting her job back. She's been back in the field.
Now we can't give you any more than that. That's all we got. Thank you.
Detective Harper, is it true you knew her?
Jeez, what was with that reporter?
It's my wife.
So, you got any suspects?
Stop.
Persons of interest?
Hey, Anna, how you doing? You doing good?
Yeah, good, Jack.
Good, good. It's really great to see you.
She just come back in town.
The killer usually knows their victim.
You stabbed 40 times? That's premeditated. It's personal.
One of us
Always
might
leads
know who
to
the
you
killer
think
is.
it's both.
The killer could be in this very room.
I think it's Anna. I think it's the husband.
I didn't hurt her, Anna. Do you know who did it?
I didn't do it, if that's what you're asking. There are two sides
Who
to
did it?
every
Who do you think
story.
did it?
Ours
Like everybody was saying that.
and theirs. Yours.
You really think that I could do something like that? You really think it?
Mine. His. And hers. Which means someone is always lying.
Definitely one of those. Is one of those series. So it's been a while. So for them to put that together, I'm hearing great things about it. I like it. I like those type of suspense thrillers. Just never know who's the one. So definitely recommend check that out. His and was it His and Hers on Netflix? They always putting something together. Let's get some motivation. Motivation. I need a motivation. All right, so this one says, don't be impressed by money, power, degrees, or looks. We should more be impressed by generosity, integrity, humility, and kindness. When I hear that, I kind of just take away those are the things that we should be putting more ahead of the other stuff when it comes to money, power, degrees, and looks. Make sure we don't forget to be, our generosity. Make sure we keep our integrity and humanity and still be kindness. Make sure we still put those in front of a lot of things because, you got to treat people with, respect and kindness. That could probably fall back to what's going on with ICE, at the end of the day. These are real people, they got lives. So we got to just double back and make sure, are we being integrity or keep treating people human? And are we still being kind out there? So that's what I interpret when I heard that one. So, but yep, that's all I got for you guys today. Hope you have bless everything. Definitely check us out for the next episode. In episode 90. So round of applause again. Long way coming. Definitely check out everything I got. Don't forget to like, subscribe. I got some new music. Try to drop probably next month. Yeah, so yeah, definitely. Like I said, I got some new music coming. Definitely check out Skyrise. Check out Savage. Check out Born to Fail. Check all that good stuff. And I got some new music coming probably next month. Well, keep an eye on that. Yeah. In the meantime, between times, peace.
I love it. You guys are so great.